welcome back to the Ultimate Trader Workshop. In this video, you guessed it, more trade psychology, because that's the only way you're going to defeat this machine is by being patient, waiting for your setups, waiting for confirmation, waiting for activation, and then waiting for a crowd to start pushing the trade in your direction. So what you see right here on the screen, this is a snapshot from one of the videos that we did, I think a week or two ago. And I named it area of interest. And what we did is we keyed in on the area of interest when you've identified an advanced pattern and what you should do, which is really nothing. Go find something else to do. Sit back, wait. Especially when it comes to advanced pattern recognition and harmonic patterns, they're very likely to come and fill the pattern. And then you start to get some reaction once that PRZ, potential reversal zone, is reached. So that takes us to where we are now. So here's the same chart, the same pattern, just a week or so later. This is pound CHF. There was a combination, a Gartley pattern and a butterfly pattern. You might want to refer back to that video so you can get the full scoop on what was happening here. So that takes us to where we are now. That patience has led to a fill on this. Okay, now this is the purpose of the video, so that you don't continue to use old bad habits and that you don't have FOMO or fear of missing out and react and take this trade too early. Because yes, it's filled, but you don't have any confirmation. There's no conviction. Okay, there's nothing that's telling you that this is going to work. And you want to do this on any time frame, even if it's a 2-minute scalping time frame. You see an advanced pattern that fills, that doesn't mean go. Look to see how many things that are telling you that it's confirmed that it's going to win. You're going to increase the probability of it. So with something like this here, yes, it's filled. That's nice. You already know where I'm going to go. Okay. At minimum, you need to let this close. This is a weekly chart. It's 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11, 12, 1, 2. This has 4 more hours to go before the market closes at 2 p.m. That's one of the reasons why you wouldn't even trade this yet. It's not closed. Your worst case scenario will be to let it close and then to see what happens with next week's candle. That's if you, for the life of you, couldn't wait for a 3-bar reversal. You would still need next week's candle to at least close in your bias at minimum. Meaning, if next week's candle was still, in my case, it's white, but it'd be red in your case, you wouldn't go. The worst case scenario is you would not attempt to go long on this unless certain conditions were met. 1, using the next bar market entry. Here's your close, your next bar. Once it closes, you go. This would have to be green in your case if you're using the classic default red and green candles. This next week's candle, which is the 21st, Friday the 21st, would have to close green before you could even consider going long. Okay? So it's good that you do have a combination of patterns. You got both combined together. It's good that the risk versus reward is going to be pretty awesome. If we were to just write that out, long, we don't know where it's going to close, but let's say it closed here on the 21st. And you know you want to look for a 618 retracement. The good thing is that there is structure back in that area. There's a lot going on there. Okay. Structure in that area, so you can look for the 618 retracement back up into that zone. And you know that your stops could be right up under the low. You could do the stop how you want, because it's going to be different if you're not using a 3-bar reversal. So I want to talk about that part. But before I do say that, yes, this is almost a 4-to-1 risk versus reward. So you're going to be excited about that. I completely get it. Let's talk about a higher level of confirmation, which you guys understand already. We know that this is going to close with a filled pattern. Okay? I would call it engulfing enough, but of course, you're not going to want to do anything unless that's followed by indecision, which is going to take you through the 21st. And then the 29th candle closing above it for a 3-bar reversal, taking out the doji. Okay, you gotta see this thing slow down and that there's a point of indecision. Maybe also in that indecision, you're getting accumulation. The buyers are ready to switch. The pattern or trade being oversold on RSI is not enough. That's old school rookie stuff. Oh, it's oversold. That doesn't mean anything. The same way we need confirmation in the form of a 3-bar reversal, something showing us that there's a crowd getting behind it. This is the same way you would want to see this down here on RSI print you some bullish divergence. So that's another thing you might have to wait for. Now, I get it. This is really hard for a trader to pass up, especially a trader who is starting to develop a liking for advanced pattern recognition or harmonic patterns. But I'm just giving you the truth. I'm just telling you exactly how it works. They don't win all the time. Yes, the Gartley, according to its founder, H.M. Gartley, stated in his book when he discovered and wrote about this, Profits in the Stock Market, on page 222, and that's why it's called the 222 Gartley pattern. He stated that this trade, when it was identified, it won 7 out of 10 times. The founder said it has a 70% win percentage. That doesn't mean that that's always going to happen. And what's going to happen to you if you're on the other end on that 30% when it doesn't? What if the ones that you trade are always a part of that 30%? What if it's just that you didn't manage it right? What if you just over leveraged in your position size? What if it did work, but it was just going to draw you down so much that you panicked and didn't know what to do, and you closed the trade and took a loss, only for it to go then and react? The answer to that is you didn't have to be in the trade at all to even take that loss. The other part of it is, even though he draw down later, maybe he could have gave you engulfing candle followed by doji followed by trigger and entry, and then you get the victory. Not only that, if the more that this draws down, when it gives you confirmation, it's going to give you an even bigger risk versus reward. In this case, you'd be in an example like this, you'd be in the 8-to-1 risk versus reward. So these are the reasons why you have to be patient with these things. And the more patient you can be with them, then you start to increase your win-loss when dealing with them, because you're dealing with higher probability. Okay? So this is probably one of the stronger lessons on the psychology and the why part when you're dealing with these patterns. They're cute. They're beautiful. They're fun. They're exciting. They make you feel like you're the man. But it don't feel so good when you don't know how to deal with them and you take losses. Okay? And it'll make you lose confidence in them. You don't want to lose confidence in something that has been thoroughly tested, especially something like the Gartley pattern. And I like all the patterns, whether it's Gartley, bat, cipher, shark, crab. I like all the stuff I do here. But I've learned to be very, very patient, and I've learned to pass up some when certain rules are not met. So you could consider this area of interest part 2, because now it's filled, so we'll go into more of a monitoring phase. But take everything that I said. Forget all the technical stuff. This video is about psychology and being able to hold off and wait and not do things like jumping into a smaller time frame. A viewer asked me earlier, is it okay if I jump back to a smaller time frame and go off that? My answer was you could. That's up to you. But you're going to have to be willing to live and die with that decision. I jumped to the day on here. The day isn't saying that it's time to go. There's no confirmation. There's nothing there. As it pertains to this right here, you can give this thing the 2 weeks that it needs, and you can go do something else. You come into here, next week kicks in, right? Next week candle kicks in and draws down, you're in a drawdown when you didn't have to be, okay? So now I'm starting to beat a dead horse. I hope that you get the message. That was my point on this one. So if you want to know more about all the fabulous things that we teach here, you've been following along, you know where to find them. It's all over there in the Harmonic Trading Academy playlist. Gartley, Butterfly, Cypher, Shark, Crab, 2618, A to B is equal to CD, double tops, double bottoms, you name it. But now we're actually really digging in and giving you guys the missing pieces that the other channels will not give you. That's what I'm here for. So hope you found some value in this one. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. If you're not subscribed to this channel, I have no idea why. Share the video if you know someone that has been struggling with psychology. This could probably greatly help them off this one video. Other than that, you guys be good. Take care of yourself in the market, and I will see you on the next video.